Welcome, people. Welcome to another episode of Good to Go, the sports live stream where we bring you the best in sports and we make it fun. All right, that's the whole idea. Now, you were here the last time when we had the remarkable Akira Nugent, and that was just incredible. That was an incredible experience. She was incredible, and we're trying to ensure that what we do is we give you the very, very best of sports from all aspects of it, not just one, but every aspect of sports. So this week we have another amazing personality from track and field. Because that's one of the things we specialize in here. We love track and field. This week we have one of the top sports analysts in the entire island of Jamaica. He is with the Jamaica Observer, and if you know anything about sports, you probably would have heard of the remarkable Paul Reid of the Jamaica Observer, sports analyst extraordinaire. And I should tell you that he's also one of my team members. Incredible person. So we'll be talking to him a little later in the live stream. So I'm just super excited about that. But you know what? We have a lot of sports happening, a whole lot of stuff happening. Kane E. Moore, big up yourself, boss. Welcome. We have a lot of sports happening. And what we're going to be doing here at Good to Go is we're going to bring you some amazing personalities to speak to, athletes, coaches, sports journalists, people from different aspects of the industry, because we want you to have a rounded impression of what's going on. Everything good, my boss. All is well. We are happy. We are healthy. And not as wise as you, but we're trying to get there. So all of you know that I'm super passionate about track and field. It's something that I absolutely love. I ran track and field at my alma mater, Kingston College. Yes, the great purple and white. I was no incredible athlete. Okay, I made it to finals. That's about it. I think I came fourth in the 4x1 anchored, and in the 100 meters, I think I came like. Is there a 10th place? Okay, no, no, I didn't come 10th, but I mean, I know I'd like 6th or 5th or 6th, somewhere around there. But I do have a great passion for track and field, and in fact, I have a bias towards our younger track athletes, because I think sometimes we tend to sort of ignore them. So there's a lot happening in track and field. And I have to say, first up, let me big up the team. Like I said, Paul Reid is one of my go-to persons in terms of team from when I started the channel in terms of doing track and field. And Paul is, you want to know it, Paul knows it. Another person who assisted us a lot, we talk about him a little later, and then I have a few other persons. So we're very, very fortunate this week to have Paul here. Is there anything you want to start talking about? Because I know what I want to start talking about before I bring on our guests. I hope you have your questions ready. The last 2 weeks ago when we had Akira Nugent, the questions were incredible. I was very, very, very impressed. I keep telling people that I'm very fortunate that a lot of the people who come to the channel are real royals. They are truly brilliant when it comes to track and field. Like, and I'm not exaggerating. Really, really remarkable people. So, big up to y'all. Really had a. I hope you had a. If you weren't here, you should go and check out that live stream with Akira Nugent. It was awesome. Akira Nugent she's like a 90-year-old trapped in like a 20-year-old body. She's unimaginably mature and intelligent. So, okay, so let me see what we're going to start with tonight. One of the things we want to start talking about. Okay, so we have coming up on the 1st, which is tomorrow actually, of March, we have the World Indoor Championships. And very, very often when we do stories on the World Indoor Championships, I do hear many of you say, boy, that's not really relevant, Peter, World Indoors Champ, that's not really relevant, we don't care about that. And I understand the sentiment, because the truth is most of us are really concentrating on what happens afterwards. But I do have my personal opinion is that I do think this is good for the athlete. It's a good way to earn some income. This is a business. They have to make money. 2, if they're working on different aspects of their race, I'm talking about if you have a great 100-meter. We saw them do it with Shericka Jackson. Shericka Jackson's flaw was her start. She got to the 10.65 people simply because of doing the 60-meter. That's, well, not simply, but that was one of the primary reasons. So I do think that the short track is important. I know that, we are all looking towards, especially this year, Paris, you know. Bonjour, money. All right, okay. I won't do the French. I'm terrible. I'm not even going to go there. But I did this little thing the other day. We were talking about Sasha Lee Forbes and Brianna Williams against Julian Alfred, Iwa Saboda, Ali Hobbs. Whoa. Okay. Uh, it's hard to predict in track and field because you can never really tell what's really going on. But I think that race is. I think it's going to be one of the marquee races in terms of the short sprints. It definitely. I think a lot of us are really, really anxious to see what exactly is going to happen. And I have my opinions. I would like to think that Sasha Lee Forbes has a chance, but my challenge with Sasha Lee Forbes is that she ran that 7.03 outdoors, which is different from indoors. And indoors, she's been running about 7.11 to 7.14. More importantly, I'm not sure if Sasha Lee Forbes it's really that important to her to win the 60. It probably is. She's an athlete, she's competitive. But I know that she's really concentrating on what's happening at Nationals a little later this year to go to Paris. And then I know I've been talking about Sasha Lee Forbes. Big fan. Big fan. I know many of you said she has not been consistent, but I think for the last 12 months she's been pretty consistent, in my personal opinion. Um, Let me see now. The other thing I would like to talk about. Let me see if I can do this real quick because I'm kind of. Let me see if I can get this done. How would I get it? Oh, okay. Hold on there, guys. Hold on there. So, I have to say thank you, big up and thank you to um, Aisha, who's back with us this week, and we also have. Hold on. Yeah, we also have my bestie with me. She is definitely going to be here. So let's get the show on the road, people. Let me see where we're at in terms of.
Totalmente, totalmente. Sí, lo que pasa es que esta gente no le gusta perder y cuando la chapa.
Arranca esta final, vamos a ver porque parece que es no Alais,
Sí.
no Alais lo que acaba de hacer 6:44, vaya marcaje que acaba de.
Now available Peter Lloyd World t-shirts with "Yep, good to go" and "Bless up" on the highest quality t-shirts. You can get long sleeve, short sleeve, any size and or color you choose. We have them cut for women and for men. So if you want to support the channel, keep us glowing, keep us growing, keep the best in sports happening, get your Peter Lloyd World t-shirt because you Royals are truly the best.
So, people, that race with Akeem, Blake, and Nolas. Now we're gonna bring on Paul. Probably gonna have Paul talk about this. Paul is really the expert when it comes to these things. To be very, very frank with you, but hold on there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, people. That race was very, very close to me, like unimaginably close. Um, 6 point, I think it was 6.44, 6.45 says to me, Akeem Blake, in terms of the short sprints, realistically, I'd love to hear your thoughts, has got to be the person who I think is closest to winning a medal at the World Indoor Championships. That's 6.44. And it's PB. Now, I know his PB is 6.42 outdoors, but I still think that I think he was competitive. I think himself, Christian Coleman, and Noah Lyles, the races should be between those people. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it, but that's my thoughts. I think it's actually there. All in the game says it's Zanab Doso, who has run a 7.02 national record this year as a dark horse. Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree with that. She's running consistently too, all in the games, all in the game. She's been very, very consistent. But going back to what I was saying, I want to know what y'all think. Do you think, as I think, that Akeem Blake, if in the right circumstances, could walk away with a medal. I mean, could he win? Could Akeem beat Noah Lyles, Christian Coleman? Is that a possibility? Like seriously, is that a possibility? It's I'm leaning, personally speaking, I'm leaning towards the person who's probably going to win is Christian Coleman. He's a world record holder, and he's only getting faster, people. That's my opinion. But I do believe that we should walk away with a gold or a silver there. Noah Lyles is on fire. And, when you're in that winning kind of vibration, Noah Lyles is just bringing in that energy, right? We need to teach young Akeem to do the same. But I think he's a great talent, and I think he's our best chance of winning a medal in the sprints, the short sprints. Women are men so far. Now, the other thing I want to talk about really quickly before we bring on my brethren. Oh, and I should say, I have to say this. I want to thank the Jamaica Observer. Yeah, they know why. They know why. Okay, so the next topic I want to talk about very quickly before we get into the interview. This one is a little. Okay, so we recently lost, I would say, one of the. All right, okay, just bear with me. We have a tendency of calling a lot of people genius. We banter about that word a lot. We call everyone be genius. This person's a genius. That person's a genius. This person, I think, really was a genius. Someone I knew personally. Great person. One of the most giving human beings I've ever come across. Brilliant, but as brilliant as he. I don't even know how to use the past tense yet. But I'm talking about Hubert Lawrence. Now, I think anybody here who knows anything about Jamaican track and field globally would know who Hubert Lawrence is. I mean, if you came up in the 90s, you remember when all the commentators overseas were British and a few Americans. Hubert Lawrence was one of those persons who broke through that barrier. And people, I can't put up Hubert's. I can't put up his picture. I can't. If I put up the picture, the live stream may finish. So Hubert gifted me for my birthday one of my favorite books, a book that I would encourage you all to get. Great book on track and field, right? 50 Days of Fire, and he signed it for me. You can't see it. Yeah. But, occasionally we do have exceptional human beings on the planet, and Hubert Lawrence was really an exceptional human being. And I know that most of you know Hubert in terms of his voice or his genius, but anyone who interacted with Hubert will tell you he was genuinely as remarkable a person as he was brilliant in terms of numbers, track and field, and track analysis. He was a great person, and his spirit will live on, but he will be missed by many of us who knew him well. He helped me on many occasions when I didn't understand something or know something. He was one of my go-to persons, one of my team persons that I would reach out to. So he'll be sadly missed. And I'm good people. Good people. All right. Okay. Not for bearing me. People that want it never easy. You're never easy. That one never easy. Okay, so Brianna Liston is the talk of the town. We're all talking about Brianna Liston. Just walked away at SEC's 7.08. My question to you is this: can she run faster? Can she, at the NCAA, at the indoors, can we see her get closer to a 7.05, which would be incredible within itself? Now, we might be a little oversaturated in Brianna Liston, but I can understand that. Last year, this channel was one of the few channels that was actually talking about Brianna Liston. We tend to get excited about the athletes when they're doing well, and even when they're transitioning. Sometimes we don't give them, Bree bun down the place. Shari Brown, yeah, she really is. she's such a talent. What I want to throw to all of you is, we know that she's a brilliant 200-meter runner, but I am of the opinion that her real strength is 100. I'm of the opinion that we're looking at another Merlin Otti if she remains healthy and continues to grow, or Elaine Thompson Herah. Her running style is impeccable. And you know what the thing about her? I don't know if you notice this, but when Bree, as you say, when Bree is running, she looks like she's just standing still. She floats. Muhammad Ali said she float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. She's a great talent, and I'm really looking forward to see if she can run something close to a 7.05 at NCAAs. I think Joshua Sears might be her only real competition there. There might be someone else waiting in the wings, but I think she's going to be amazing. All in the Game said it helps Brianna that she's only running the 60-meter, unlike others who have to run more than. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that All in the Game, but I suspect the reason why they're doing that is the coach, of course, has expressed worry about injury issues where she's concerned. So you are right. The other, I see Nikisha Price, another huge channel favorite. Nikisha Price running the 4. She's running I saw her running the 2 the other day, and she did a surprisingly good job. I think she's top 3 going into the NCAAs, if my memory is correct. No, that's in the 400 meters. But yeah, Brianna Liston is on fire. On fire. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about before I get into the genius that is Paul Reid. And Paul, don't want to call him genius, but I don't banter about that word very, very often. But he really is remarkable, and I hope you have your questions lined up before we get into the NCAA Indoor Championships. Now, as I think, if I'm correct, Paul can correct me, something like 40 plus Jamaican athletes, collegiate, made it through to the qualifiers, which is, I'm going to keep saying it to people. Jamaica don't have 3 million people. And someone was saying to me the other day, why do I keep bringing up the size of the country? And I'm saying, look, if your country has 325 million people, you're the wealthiest country on the planet, wealthiest country in history, and you have endless resources. And my country have less than 3 million people, 2.9 million people. And we can produce this many track super talents. Now, we don't have endless, as you all know, we do not have endless resources here. Yeah, I'm going to keep bringing that up. I think that 40 plus Jamaican collegiate athletes making it through to the qualifiers at the NCAA indoors is a huge deal, because it's not a lot of Jamaicans. So, I am going to forever keep beating that. I know people saying the numbers don't matter, but the numbers must matter. If I can choose from 325 million people, I have endless resources, and you have less than 3 million people and limited resources, and you keep trouncing me. Yeah, respect must be due. That's my opinion. I'm not being controversial. I'm just being honest. So I think that's a big deal. We'll get more into that when Paul gets on air. So let me see if I can do this right. Baby, take your time. Okay. This is it? Yeah. Okay, hold on there. All right, we got it. Got it. All right, all of you know that this is not really my thing, right? But yeah, we have to do the thing. So let's see here. So we'll be bringing on the great one himself in a few.
Yep, good to go. Sports live stream takes place tonight, February the 29th, Thursday at 8 p.m. Jamaica time, featuring this gentleman, the remarkable Paul Reid, top-tier sports analyst of the Jamaica Oberver. We will discuss the latest in track and field and his remarkable journey. So join us tonight with the great Paul Reid, sports analyst. Bring your questions, you remarkable royals, and let's make this fun. Join us. Yep, good to go. Live streamed tonight, 8 p.m. Jamaica time at Peter Lloyd World.
So it is my pleasure, all right, to bring on this gentleman. Now, Paul Reid is someone I've known for quite some time. I've known Paul Reid since he was into bodybuilding. Yes, Paul Reid was a bodybuilder. And he started his journey journalism in 1982, if my memory serves me correctly. I let him fill in the blanks because I know what to say, but I don't want to. I want him to speak. Um, to say there are few people. Jamaica is very blessed, but there are about three or four, I think, sports analysts, particularly when it comes to track and field, that I put in a whole place by themselves. Of course, there is Hubert Lawrence, who just transitioned, and next to him is Paul Reid. Now, Paul Reid is the senior sports analyst at the Jamaica Observer, and we are very, very fortunate to have him. I call him a brethren, a brother, bro, brother, the king, the boss, and he's such an incredible personality and talent, unimaginable experiences. He knows track and field. When many of us are guessing and hoping and praying and wishing, he actually knows. So, without further ado, let me bring on the boss himself, right? Oh, hold on there. Wait a minute. Paul, why is that small on the screen? You know why it's so small, but boss!
Evening, Peter. I
What's
don't
up,
know what
sir?
you're talking about, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know you don't know what I'm talking about. Paul, all right. You know what? From I've known you, you've always been, I don't want to say modest, but I think you believe in, we need to speak about how great you are as an individual. And the fact is that your accomplishments are remarkable. Um, you have a lot of people who say they've done stuff, and then you have people who have actually done it. And you're one of the persons who has really shone. I'm going to let you speak. First question I'm going to ask you before we get into your past, right? Why sports journalism?
Accidental, purely by accident. I was always a sports fan. My mother was a West Indies cricket fan, and she would miss a test match on the radio because in those days it was the radio, and I was a hyperactive child, to put it that way. So I was always getting into little things, and she would just pull me one side. I would have to sit down beside her and listen to test cricket. And I guess as a boy in Barracks Road Primary, sports came automatic. So I just got into sports. I wasn't very good at sports, playing sports myself. I did a little bit of swimming. I played some house football at Cornwall. I played that kind of sports. I played some D2 here in the parish, but I wasn't very good. But I could write. I can write a little bit. And my mind works in a way that it helps me to break down stuff and in a different way. And I read a lot. Peter, I read a lot. I've been reading about sports from I was in primary school. I was following sports even before TV and radio and whatever. Encyclopedias at the parish library. I was just drawn to sports. So when I left school in 1982, a long time ago, before computers with typewriters, I we couldn't afford to send me to come see or whatever. And Aubrey Campbell, who went to Cornwall, he was working at a radio station here, a regional station. He asked me to come and help him out until I found a job. This was October 1982. I still am trying to find a job right now. And that's where it started. That's where we started at the grassroots level, going to the boys club to watch netball and basketball at the primary school level. That's where it started. And by God's grace, I was able to have accomplished a couple of things, a couple of Olympic Games, World Championships, and all these things. So that's where it started.
Now, we're going to jump right into it, right? And then we're going to go back and forth because you know me, stay, we go all over the place.
Not at all.
We have,
That's
we
why
have,
I'm here tonight.
we have a couple of youngsters. We'll start with the females.
Yeah.
Who, I talk a lot about the youngsters. It's one of the things I like to do because I think sometimes they're overshadowed, right? So we have the Clayton twins. We have Brianna Liston that I just mentioned. We have there's so much Karika, Renee, Alana. We have this plethora of young I mean, we're talking about the sprints now, the 100, 200.
Yeah.
You have a Brianna Williams, still a youngster. So I'm going to start with a hard one. A question I know a sports analyst would never like to speak about. But we are virgins, so we can't talk.
All right.
Do you think most of these girls, if they remain healthy, will be able to transition successfully? Because we see tremendous talent in them, like insane talent. But let's say they're not injured.
I heard you mention a genius earlier, our dear friend, my brother, who
Yes.
passed, and I'm having an issue to come to grips with that he's not here with us. The World Indoor starts in the morning, and I almost text him this evening to ask him what time and all them things. So, he's still with us,
Yes.
and he can tell you that what we're seeing is, and it's something that we've spoken about. It's a new wave of just phenomenal talent. When we had a high school athlete that could run 10.92 seconds last year in high school, that would be a national record in
Yep.
most countries in the world.
Yes.
That
Yes.
would be the national record. Um, you just mentioned about the size of the country and our impact at the NCAA. We don't have as much athletes that go to the NCAA as East Africa or West Africa. The Africans send athletes to the NCAA by the plane load. Now, next weekend, I hope to be at the NCAA indoors. We have 4 men in the shot put final, in the shot put quality. 4 men. The NCJCAA national start on Friday. Of the 13 men that qualified for the shot put finals, 6 of them are Jamaicans. I'm
Wow.
talking about shot put now, and because we're known as the sprint factory or whatever. But our field events, Peter, is taking off. The throw, the jumps, the of the 4 horizontal jumps next weekend, 3 of them, the men's long jump, the men's triple jump, and the female long jump are led by Jamaicans. Luke Brown in the triple jump, Wayne, Wayne in the long jump, Akila in the long jump, and the 2 high jump. The leaders are from Jamaica as well, Distin and Beckford. So for a country that doesn't have 3 million people that live here, and 10 in the in around, we have punched way above our weight as far as track and field is concerned. Now back to the question now, if they are healthy, if they are free of I honestly think expecting them to make it to the Olympics this year is a long shot. I'm not saying it can't happen, it could happen, but when you go up against a fit Hera, Thompson Hera, Jackson, it's going to be Nelson. Don't count out. She got injured last year. Unfortunately, she's gonna come back this year, and I'm sure she's gonna come back tough. So,
And
but
Shelly, don't leave
Shelley,
out
I mean,
because she intends to walk out and leave a
I
huge
can't imagine the pressure on her now that this is her swan song. She has to make the team.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to make the team. So I don't see any of the youngsters. They could. I'm not saying that they can make the team. It will be a long shot, but come next year World Championships, and I hear we're gonna have a World Championship every year. It's not something I like. Honestly, personally, I think water done the product. However, going forward, we are going to reclaim our title as the fastest country in the world,
Yeah,
especially on the side of the female.
yeah. Now that's the other thing. Now, there's one discussion that I see all over the internet. I mean, I have talked about it because I remember when all our athletes were being sent overseas. to train, right? I know you know this was coming. We have discussed this on many occasions.
Yes.
I remember when was it? It was Steve Francis and Bruce James and those guys went. As I think it was Asafa. Was that no?
Yeah, Safa.
Yeah, and said, "Hey,
Safa, Ainsley War.
yes, right,
Yes.
um, junk food twins. What? Junk food. John Epic says, junk food twins still into the sub tens. Okay, anything is possible when super diet is in. I get your point, John. Very valid point. You see, this is the people that have that come here, Paul.
Yep.
They're So what I'm saying is, I remember back in the day when we send out all our talent, and maybe 10% of them would
We
make
had no
it.
choice. We had no choice.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And then when UTech and Bruce and those guys got together, and we assembled that powerhouse force that created a dominance of Jamaica over that period of time, like 13 years, 12 to 13 years. Now, what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing Alana Reid, which I think a lot of people were alarmed, but we don't know why she made the decision of going to work with Shakari. We have no clue, and I don't think we have a right to question. But what I've known of Alana Reid and her family, they're conscientious, smart people, so they must know.
Yeah.
But we do have a constant conversation here about our talent going into the collegiate scene. Do you think there's an advantage and or disadvantage as the sports analyst here, as the brilliant person here? Do you think there's an advantage or
Peter,
disadvantage?
until 2008, and this is not my opinion now, this is a fact. Until 2008, every single medal that Jamaica won in the World Championships and the Olympic Games came from athletes who went and trained in the United States or in England. So until racers had their set up, until MVP, we didn't have a choice. It is not cheap or easy to train an athlete up to the superstar world championship level. And yes, we've had cases where athletes left here as stars, went away and did not make it to the next stage. It happens in life. They will tell you that of every single group of or class of athletes in any sport in the world, if you track them from juniors to professional, less than 3% or 4% will actually sign a professional contract. So we have done our own fair share, Peter, of burning out here.
Yeah,
All,
I know. I've seen that.
all in the world, all in of champs. There were coaches and schools that champs and champs glory was the be all and end all of everything. So we were burning out athletes. One of the worst things for me to say, Peter, is young athletes trapped up going to run a race with like bandages everywhere. That bothers me. You know, there's no reason why a class 2 athlete should run through some injuries. All right. Said that. I had this conversation this week. Every single decision that is taken, whether to go away or stay here, must be made on an individual basis. I have a program that I help athletes, young athletes, high school athletes to get into the NCAA system. I've been doing that for a little while now, and there are some who can stay here and do what they have to do. Many others will go away because they're also going to get a degree. If you go to certain schools, Peter, at Texas or Arkansas, a scholarship is worth sometimes up to 70,000 US dollars a year.
Whoa.
Do the maths. That's 155 to 1. 70,000. You are not only going to get world-class coaching, but you're going to get world-class medical, nutrition. You're in school. It's not the 70s where you could get somebody to write your papers for you. You must write your own papers now. You have to. So you are approaching, and then remember now, again, unless you're Malinati, unless you are one of your sports career, which some people think is an oxymoron, because by the time we're 35, we retired or retiring.
Yes, that's true.
The lifespan now, people are alive until they're 80 now and older. So if you retire at 35, you probably have another 45 years to live. What do you do if you don't make? And only a handful, Peter, only a handful are going to be rich. A VCB and a Safa, a Bolt, a Shelley, and Elaine. A lot of the other athletes are going to have to find a job when they leave school. I bumped into Spearman in Hungary last year. Wally Spearman is a police officer. He's got, yes. Wally Spearman is a police officer. He's working. He's working a beat. He's a police officer. A lot of the athletes are coaches or whatever, not because they have to give back, but because they have to earn a living because sports don't have a pension.
So do you think, to interrupt, I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
this is one of the reasons why a lot of the young, because what I'm noticing now, the trend now with the very young athletes like the Alanas, the Clayton twins, etc., is that they forego college and they say, you know what, we're going to go straight to making that money, that paper. Do you think that's the reason? And do you think that's a feasible option?
The same way you call me at times, I have people who I talk to. I talk to the Paul Francises, I talk to the Wilsons from GC Foster, and I have friends, very good friends who are agents who have been in business for years and decades. Claude Brian, for example, I call him, we talk a lot. Norman Peart, Anderson, they're agents. And one thing they tell me is that when they sign young athletes, they build in a school, an academic proponent that they will be paid to go to school and pursue a degree because it's all well and good for you to go pro if you can do it. I mean, a Bolt did not need to go to school, or a Johan Blake, did not need to go and get a degree. But when they make the millions, they're gonna have to find a way to they're gonna have to find a way to make sure that they can make the money stay and make more money for them. So as far as I'm concerned, I've never been in a position to advise an athlete whether to turn pro or get a degree. However, for me, there has to be an academic part of it. You have to go to school. You have to get some kind of education to fall back, and not just a high school education.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We had on Akira Nugent 2 weeks ago, right? I mean,
Yes.
I know you know Akira personally. And one of the things she said her advice to the athletes is that she said, listen, if you go pro, get a degree. That was her advice. And she said basically the same thing you said almost verbatim. She said, look, by the age 30, 35, our career is over. So my advice is, no matter how much money you're making, whatever, get a degree. It was, really interesting because this is a conversation that we have very, very often here as to whether or not, if you get what I'm saying, the athletes, because I think the impression that people have is that the athletes, like let's just use the Clayton twins as an example.
Yeah.
Them just make up whack, like, $1 million US, $500,000 US, and that's it. But I'm pretty sure, do you have an idea? I mean, I know you don't know the details, but how are these sort of scholarships, are these normally structured?
The deals, I've seen a couple of contracts. I've seen a shell. There is a payment, but most contracts are heavily incentive laden. So, for example, if you sign $1 million contract over 2 years, the cash value upfront is probably 300,000, and the other you have to run fast, make personal best, make national teams. For example, most contracts are into Olympic years. So this year, most people will end their contracts this year, Olympic year. And so they have to earn a contract. So it depends on you making your national team, for example, make it to the finals of the Olympics and winning a medal to max out your all the incentives on your deal. So it's heavily incentive laden. Some people will make, I don't know, it depends on the athlete, but some athletes are, not all athletes are equal though.
Right.
Not all athletes are equal. So, and probably Elaine Thompson-Herah, her new deal that she signed with her new shoe company might be worth a little bit more than, say, a young Blake, for example.
Right. Mhm. Okay, you brought up one of the magical names, one of the three magical fairies, the three magical queens, right? We know that making the Jamaican national team it's got to be one of the toughest teams on earth to make.
Yeah.
I think maybe
in certain events, in the sprint hurdles, in the sprints,
yeah,
yes, the jumps is difficult.
Elaine Thompson-Herah she's the Olympic queen, the double champion, and last year she had a terrible year. It got really good towards the end.
Yes.
She picked up a great coach, and then we don't know what happened. I don't want to I don't want to get myself into that. But we know that she's with Shelley's coach now. Yeah.
Walcott. Yeah.
Right. And the fact that she herself and Sharika and Shelley are so silent. Like we're hearing nothing about them.
It's February, Peter Lloyd. There's nothing to hear. It's February.
Well, remember we saw Sharika doing the 60s last year.
And a lot of athletes will tell you that they don't even want to put on spikes until May. A lot of athletes are doing spikes come on in May when they have to. I remember when they started the America versus the world thing at the Penn Relays some time ago. I remember Gay was very upset because he says he's in Florida doing warm weather work, and he has to leave from Florida, come to cold Philadelphia to run two times over the weekend. He didn't want to, but he had to do it. So I think most of these athletes would rather not run until mid-April or so, when they're really, because the background work is very, very important. People don't run fast in August if they don't put in that heavy load, the weightlifting, the background work, the drills. You cannot run fast.
Now, first question for the night, because we normally ask members of the audience to ask questions. All in the game, one of our regulars says, interesting question. I mean, I don't think you can actually answer this, but you can give your perspective. He says, when are the track and field athletes going to finally unionize and collectively bargain like other professional sports?
But there is an athlete thing on the World Athletics, and we actually have a representative on it. What's her name? The 3,000 meter athlete, Lear. Aisha sits on the athlete's thing. Unionize. You see, every single contract is a personal, individual contract. So it's not like I run for MVP, so I'm going to get, because that person get 25,000, I get 20,000. Every single contract is based on the individual, so that person is accompanied by themselves.
Okay, well, yeah,
because track and field is an individual sport. Like lawn tennis is not a team sport. You're not a club. You're not a club, and that person gets the most because they're captain. Every single athlete is accompanied by themselves.
All right, one of our regulars, Rocky Hill. Well, you said 70,000, but he's saying Texas nor Arkansas is worth 70,000 a year.
No. All right. I saw that. And the school fees might not be 70,000 a year. But for example, I had an athlete that went to Virginia, and at the time the school fee was something like 60,000. It ended. He left school last year, 60,000 a year. That's the international. Because remember now, the international athletes pay way more than Americans. and the Americans get the Pell Grants and all kind of different grants. But the student, the international students pay more money to attend American schools. So when an American, because if you're in state and you sign for a state school, it's a lot cheaper. The Pell Grants and other grants, and I know I can't speak of that particularly. I had an athlete that went to Cornwall. He finished high school in Florida. When he went to a school in Mayak, the school fee was 45,000 a year. The school offered it 20,000. It's a small school. The school offered him 20,000. He could get enough grants from the government because he had a green card. He was a citizen, so he could get enough grants to pay school fee. However, if you're coming from Jamaica to go to school in America, it probably costs, or Serbia or Bahamas, it will cost you probably 3 times for the foreign American. So because of course, if you just go to school, where you get your books, whatever, the athletes, Peter Lloyd, the amount of, especially when you go to the big Nike and Adidas schools, the amount of gear you get is worth a whole lot of money. The insurance that is paid for you, the medical that is paid, that you actually get if you go to the schools that have these facilities. For example, at Texas and at Arkansas and Minnesota, these schools. I tell you something. In 2015, the Big Ten,
Yeah.
conference, with a new TV contract that they signed in 2015, the average budget for each Big Ten school was $150 million. Million. That's average. Michigan, Ohio State is more than that.
Wow.
A Rutgers or whatever is probably 80, 90 million. However, Texas, being a Big 12 school, Texas is the richest non-Ivy League school in America. Texas is the richest non-Ivy League school. And the Ivy Leagues have hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars in endowment. Harvard, Yale, and these schools. Texas is the richest non-Ivy League school in America.
So do you think that this may be what, because clearly there's lots of money in the collegiate system?
Yeah, the NIL has changed.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Completely. The NIL has changed. In 2015, they introduced.
Hold on there, wait. Could you break down first, because not everybody knows what is an NIL?
Right.
We're just talking like we normally talk. What's an NIL?
An NLI is a national. That's what everybody signs when they're going to go to a school. An NLI. The NIL is name, image, likeness. If you remember Peter Lloyd, sometime back, so a pair of twins that played basketball on the West Coast. I'm not sure which school they went, but they sued the NCAA because they said that the NCAA used their names, their image, and their likeness to promote and made a lot of money off them, which is true. I read something recently that basketball brings up to $900 million into the NCAA every year. Basketball.
Wow.
And football. So there's only 2 paid sports in America. No, 3, sorry. Basketball, football, and ice hockey. Track and field and everything else feeds off what these other sports bring in. Just like us here in ISA, only football and track and field make money and are sponsored. So cricket, so tennis, so lawn, whatever, swimming is subsidized by these other sports. Right. All right, so the NCAA was just an amateur sport for decades, and athletes would quarrel. Athletes would bicker that the schools are making money and they're not making any money. There was a basketball player in Yukon not so long ago, and he did an interview and he said he went to bed hungry because after the game was finished, the tuck shop or whatever they eat was closed. Wow. He was one of those players that would have gone to play in the NBA. The next week, the NCAA changed the rule. NCAA said wherever they eat, the canteen, the tuck shop must stay open until every single activity ends on campus. The NCAA has made more changes in the last 5 or 6 years, Peter Lloyd, than in the last 50 years. So in about 2014-15, they had something called cost of attendance. When you sign a scholarship, you go there, you get what's called a stipend, and it depends on which school you go to. Some schools can pay it. But the SEC school, the Southeast Conference, is the richest conference. So Texas is moving to the SEC later this year. Texas, Oklahoma, they leave the Big 12 going. It's money, and so the cost of attendance is that when you live off campus, you're in an apartment owned by the school. You get a rent check. Your rent maybe $700 a month. Say, for example, you get a check for $1,500. The remainder is yours. I was in a press conference last year in Oregon when they asked, what's her name, from the hurdler from Puerto Rico.
Oh, Camacho Queen.
Yes. They asked her about the name is Lioness. She said she wished she was getting some money when she was in school like that. Peter, there is a football player at Ohio State, Harrison Jr. He's making $25 million this year.
What? From the NIL?
From NIL. His father played in the NFL. His father was an NFL superstar. Harrison over his entire NFL.
Didn't make that.
He made $50 million. His son is making $25 million in 1 year.
You know, we because we're talking people. Let me just remind you, this is good to go sports live stream on Peter Lloyd World, and we are speaking to my good brethren, one of our team members. You always ever talk about the team. This is one of our team members, the incredible Paul Reid, the top sports analyst of the Jamaica Oberver, senior.
One of them. One of the sports analysts.
Listen, Remember that.
We have a good team there.
I know you have a great team.
Led by
people, you may have to leave this all a while. It's a regular team
there. Yes.
However, Paul, I still consider Paul one of the very best.
Appreciate that, sir. Yes.
Now, Paul, we're drifting along here, and I'm going to ask a question that I think a lot of the people here watching are going to be interested in. So, the biggest sporting event in the Caribbean, and I was told one of the top 4 in the world in track and field, is the ISA Boys and Girls Champs. And I can tell you as a YouTuber, all YouTubers will tell you that we cannot broadcast anything, as you know, because people are making, let me finish, sir. People making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So my question is, at any point, should we consider having these youngsters compensated, or can we? Because I know that I'm just following.
Immediately no. High school
because of the professional.
Yes, and if you get I get a note, Peter, that somebody just text me that the audio is gone.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, somebody is texting me. Yeah, I'm hearing you now. I don't know what's happening. Somebody's saying that the audio is gone.
Okay.
NIL.
Aisha, can you find out if? Hold on there, guys. Just give me a second. Let me just check something here while we're speaking. No, I'm hearing clearly. So it might be where they are. I'm sorry about it, but it might be where they are.
Yeah, but no, Peter. If you start giving high schoolers money, it can happen. No. All right. I do. If you're saying to pay them for their performance at champs, we're going to slippery slope. We're going on a very slippery slope. Because remember now, not every single champs athlete is going to make a decision to go college or pro. And some of them may go find a job, go to college, become doctors, lawyers, and all that. Journalists maybe. And where would that money come from?
All right. I mean, okay, let's leave it there. I want to jump somewhere else, if you don't mind.
Yeah. All right.
Let me jump somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow we have World Indoors, and the
Yeah.
whole world is talking about that, and you and I have discussed it almost ad nauseum. What are you looking for tomorrow? What are the races or the events that excites you? One of the world's top sports analysts.
All right. Jesus. Pressure. Pressure. All right. We can get 3 medals tomorrow. The male, female shot put, their finals tomorrow. And the men's 60 meters. I heard you talk earlier, and young Blake, if he executes, I mean, the 60 meters, the Americans are a little bit taller than him. It takes them a little bit, and you showed up a great race when you raced them in at the armory at the meet. He led. He could have won that race. And he just kept his composure. He would have won that race. But teething pains. That was his first race indoors.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first time indoors. So it takes some adjustment to get. I remember in 2016, I was in Oregon when Asafa got a medal, and we thought Asafa was going to win the gold. I don't remember who beat him, but he lost in a final. Blake can get a medal. If he gets a medal, it will be a huge push for him for the outdoors, because as you said, in an Olympic year, nothing else matters.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I do think, Linda says give the money to the school track programs so that they have the resources.
Yes. That's allowed. And matter of fact, ISA gives back reflows to the schools. The schools get reflows from football and track. So
I have noticed that. Now here's the thing. Now we talked about Akeem. Okay, so that's one race. What other races at World Indoor?
The women's 60, and it could be, as you said, the event of the first day of the championships. Swoboda, the Italian.
Doso.
Yes, it's gonna go to. It's a 60 meter, right? And you can't blink. You cannot blink. I like the field events, though, Peter. I like the field events, and I think
Paul, I'm sorry to interrupt. We've been talking about that a lot because I'm telling people we are becoming a full nation in terms of track and field.
Jumps, the throws. Cameron is the third-ranked shot putter in the world. I don't want to say it, but maybe when he went to Hungary last year, the occasion got the better of him. The occasion got the better of him. So having got that out of the way, Glasgow should not be such a big thing for him anymore. It's big, but and then Thomas Dodd has medaled at the highest stage.
Oh, one of my favorite athletes.
Yeah, so we can get 3 medals tomorrow on the first day. Given the team we have, I don't think it's our strongest team. I don't think it's our best team. Given what we saw earlier in the season who ran indoors, we were hoping that there were others who might have put their hands up and go. But you see, you cannot blame a coach in an Olympic year if he says, I don't want to go all the way to Scotland and cold. We don't know what can happen. We can't have a setback between now and August. We can't have that.
So that's why we're not seeing the big names. The
big names. Yeah. So we're not seeing the big name. But it's a world championship, Peter Lloyd. It's a world championships, and many of us don't really appreciate the indoors because we're not busy with the indoor short track. I have not said short track because I refuse to call that name.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me. It's indoor track and field. It's not short track. I don't know what world athletic is trying to do with
You know,
the sport.
it's a term that I've used a few times.
I'm not going to use it.
Yeah,
It's,
but
it's,
you
it's
know,
indoors. It's indoors.
I get your point. Okay, so Sasha Lee Forbes.
Yes.
Now, I mean, I've been talking about her a lot, and people keep saying to me, she's on boy, boss, she's inconsistent. Toki True Blue, big up yourself, my boss. Big up, thank you for stopping by. Sherry Brown, thank you for stopping by. The great Michael Hill. Oh, you know, say Cherokee Young, David Harrison. Oh, you know. Hey, them people are easy. Michael, please tell me, oh, you know. Is it true? Or is it just, start talk? Anyway, um, I am seeing, I'm not talking about tomorrow for Sasha Lee Forbes. But I've seen so much improvement. It's almost as if she's beginning to cash in all the chips.
She listen, the fact that she made the Jamaican team in the women's sprints for the World Championships, no arguments.
I agree.
There's no argument. She made the Jamaican national team for the World Championship off merit. We're not gonna find excuses. She belongs there.
Other person that I talk about a lot, I get locked into athletes. I think she is going through an adjustment process. Brianna Williams, your thoughts?
Yeah. This is going to be a crucial year for her. This is going to be a really crucial year for her from my standpoint because she has to make the team in an individual event this year.
I agree too.
This I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, she has proven in the past she has some interest to deal with last year, but she pulled through. All being equal, it's going to be. I mean, that female race trials is going to
come on. Just say it. It's going to be like the Olympic finals.
Exactly. So, for people like her and other youngsters, Reid and the other youngsters coming through, they're gonna have to beat the best. And how do you beat two people or one person that run 10.5 and two more that run 10.6?
Yes,
it's unfair. It's really, really unfair.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we and I've discussed it in the past. I keep telling people, look, Jamaicans were spoiled in track and field, so we don't understand.
Absolutely.
Okay, with all the hullabaloo that America is going on, with big up Rocky, big up to my American crew and friends, the Royals. In terms of sprints, in the female, I just Shakira, they really have. They don't really have nobody else. In terms of shots, the 100. No, I mean Aliyah Hobbs, yes. But what I'm saying is,
we hasn't won anything yet, though.
In terms of just
Aliyah hasn't won anything.
No, she hasn't.
Exactly.
Right? So
not disrespecting anybody though.
No,
because Alfred, I think, could be the next person to break into the medals.
Well, I've been saying that for 2 years, sir. 2 years I've been saying that. We have had this
conversation.
conversation.
Alfred, Peter Lloyd, the next time you get a chance, look at Alfred running and look at a video of Merlin Archer running.
I have already noticed, sir.
It's almost a clone. It's like a clone. I had 5 minutes with her in Budapest, and we're talking a little bit, and I told her that I think she looks just like Merlin Archer, and she was like, oh, she couldn't believe it. I said, yes, you remember so much of Merlin Archer. And people who know her from St. Lucia, we've spoken, and they say, yes, they see the resemblance. They even talk alike.
Please remind people that she went to Kingston High School, yeah?
St. Catherine High. No, not Kingston High School. St. Catherine High School. St. Catherine High School she went to. Yes.
Spanish Town High School.
Spanish High School, yes.
Okay, so we talked about Saturday, Brianna. Yeah. What else are you looking forward to tomorrow at work?
The 400 meters. Yeah. You mentioned her a while ago, Young and Williams. Young and Williams are in 400 meters.
Yeah.
I think they should make the final, and once they're in the final, anything happens. It's the raffle, so almost a raffle. The 4x4 team, though, could medal. I think we have a very strong team there.
That's what I'm thinking. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
the
thinking.
4x4 team looks really good. Yeah.
I thought all in the game says don't disregard the US
True. No,
youngsters. No, we're not.
No, it's not a matter of disregarding.
We're
You know.
not. We're not. No,
Yeah.
we're not. Tamara Davis and Shanti Jackson. They're amazing
No, not at
talents.
all.
Them all the way.
Matter
Amazing.
of fact, somebody pointed out to me, somebody who's close to Davis, pointed out, made a statement in 2018 that if Davis was born a couple of months earlier, maybe she would have won the sprint double at the World Under 20 2018. That's because she was too young to have gone to Finland. But somebody said they feel somebody who's attached to her, who I'm close to, said had she not been so young, she might have been the world under 20 person.
Well, you know, one of the persons that I want to talk about, because I know she's going to be at Worlds, and I'm trying to find the right way to say it. She's one of my favorite athletes, and I think.
But Peter Line, every athlete is your favorite athlete.
Yeah, because listen, look what about me and track and field. I'll be honest with you. Love track and field.
Yes.
And I can see that if I lock into an athlete, I lock into the athlete.
Yes.
I'm not saying they're all super talents, but
As a journalist, as a journalist,
yes, I know you can.
I can't make a.
I was going to. Yes. I mean, Rocky Hill. Rocky, this is interesting. Rocky says nobody's even mentioning Hobbs. She's a bust from a long time. Interesting.
I don't like that word bust at all, honestly. I think people have their where they're going to do their very best, and I think we should respect them when they've done their very best. I was watching a video today from Hungary, and somebody said that Forbes didn't do her best on the third leg because Cunningham, I mean, the American third leg runner is it's a beast.
Yes.
She's an amazing, I mean, you know, it's just good, better, best.
And the other thing too, we have talked about this. Aubrey Campbell says it's about time, wishing the project much success. Big up yourself, great King Aubrey.
Thank you, Aubrey. Aubrey's a boss, you know.
But no doubt about it. No doubt about that one. Yes, so yes. Let's have to big up the great one. Michael Hill says Brianna isn't going to make the Olympic team in an individual event unless she runs 10.6 or under 22, but I guess in the 200 meters, but she can be top 6.
That is, I mean, that's that is true. That is true. That is,
Yeah, that could be a realistic assessment because, as I said, we said the team as we're looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, if Elaine comes on healthy, if Sharika is healthy, if Shelly is healthy, it's going to be hell to pay. Because
Nelson, Forbes, all these youngsters, Reid coming through.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, making the final alone is going
to be a big deal.
Take some serious running.
Yeah. I mean,
as our good friend would say, it will take some serious stepping.
Yes.
It's gonna take some serious stepping. Yes.
The thing is, I mean, there are athletes we haven't even talked about it. We haven't even mentioned the Oregon Queen who surprised everybody 2 years ago. You know what I'm talking about?
Nelson. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So and she's transitioning. She herself was transitioning.
Yes.
And we don't even realize the depth of the team. And then you have coming up beyond them, you have people like Karika Hill, who I think is a great flat sprinter. I mean, it's crazy. Now, we've been talking a lot about the women.
Because they have done better than the men of late. Mm-hmm. Since Bolt has left the scene and the female has outstripped the men in terms of medals and everything else. Not that the men are not trying their best, but the females have outperformed them.
So what's the problem? Because Akeem, to me, I'm seeing some people, Kishane, Akeem.
Yes, and they knew what you say. there are people who were expecting to have made that transition. Dexter Lee comes to mind immediately. Dexter Lee should have been the one that took over the baton from Bolt and Blake, and he should have been the man. No. And there were several others who just never made that transition. O'Hara didn't make the transition. A lot was expected of him.
Boaj Nkume.
Well, he's new. He just ran. Yeah, I mean, he's still in this new group with Daly and Blake and the rest. So, and I'm blaming the ones before him. What's his name that went to FSU and never panned out from KC?
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Into the lot. He went to World Championships 2018, and he didn't make the finals. What's his name from San Diego that got a medal in Bidgosh in 2018? Oh gosh, he's short, thick, short guy. They were the ones that we thought would have made that transition. No, so we're waiting for Thompson now. We're waiting for Watson now. Sprinters,
Seville.
For Oblique.
Yeah.
So these are the people who we're really, really looking forward now to get men back up to where we think they belong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just, because, for instance, Oblique last year, and of course, this is me, a lay person, a fan. I tell people all the while I'm a fan. Unfortunately, I have people like yourself around who can steer me in the correct direction.
Oblique ran the same time as a medalist,
As a medalist. As a medalist.
He did too early.
Yes.
Did too early.
Without a doubt.
Two more strides. He did too early,
He was just anxious, and I think he's going to be faster.
Here, what I like about Oblique that many of the fans might not see. He is a very, very smart person. He's very brilliant. He's brilliant. He is a student of the game, of the sport. Yeah. He studies the sprints. He knows what he has to do. And his interviews are very introspective. His interviews they're full of information, and he can tell you who won what the last time or what they're doing. And he reminded us in Hungary, he never make us forget, this is the first sprint team that get the medal since way back when, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so that's true. Remember that, yeah.
So Oblique, he's so smooth though. He never looks like he's bothered. He never looks like he's like.
Yeah, but I mean, we have to also concede that Oblique and these guys, Akeem Oblique, are around when we're seeing Noah Lyles, we're seeing a Christian, we're seeing
just like when we went up. Both on a Blake, the Americans,
exactly. So there's a plethora of incredible talent out there. The great Bobby is saying, are you talking about Clark earlier, the sprinter? Michael Hill is saying Mattison.
Mattison's the name. That's right. Mattison's the name. Mattison.
Thank you, sir.
What's his name from Stetson as well? He ran at 10 at Gibson, Cambridge High School to Stets.
Let me interrupt a second. People, you see, when we have these conversations, this man just make me feel like me not know things because I remember stuff. Remember this stuff, bro.
Ellis.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Yeah, I do remember.
Nigel Ellis. That's right. Nigel Ellis. He is one that we expected to have come through before. Ellis, Mattison, that team that went to Big Gosh in 2018, those sprinters that went to Big Gosh, they were expected to be the ones that would have come through now. From 2016, where were we in 2016? 2016 we were in Big Gosh, and 2018.
It would have been 2018 after Bolt's retirement.
2014 was Oregon with O'Hara and Hyde. Hyde won the 400 hurdles then, and what's his name in there? So we thought that this group of athletes would have come through and make it to the next stage. Both thought that they got too much.
But not to cast aspersions. I do remember seeing an interview with you saying he basically implied that a lot of the younger athletes at the time were.
Not too much upfront too early.
I want to use the Jamaican phraseology: hype,
Money.
hype,
Hype.
hype.
Yeah.
Yes, they were a little too hype, and I think someone said, Toki True Blue said O'Hara was a prima donna. I don't really want to say that because I don't know the young man. I don't know him personally. But
I met him briefly a little bit, and I didn't see that at all. He's very, yeah, I mean, he's very, well spoken, and I never saw that. Then again, I live in Mobile. They live in Kingston, so I would have seen that. I would have seen that side of them,
Mark Beck, because I hear these, and I'd like you as a you're not. I'm a student of the sport. You are a tutor. You're a professor of the sport. Mark says the Jamaican sprinters are not putting in hard work to succeed. Too much complacency. The ladies understood hard work. In return, they stayed on top. Your thoughts?
That sounds like a commentary on the young males in Jamaica overall. But anyway,
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. No, but I not necessarily. I don't agree necessarily because I mean, we had other athletes in other non-sprinting area that did well. The hurdlers, for example.
Yes.
The hurdlers. I mean, Hyde won back to back world on 20 championships, won Commonwealth Games. He made World Championship finals. We had other people in other areas who excelled as well. So it's not necessarily just the sprinters alone.
But there's a theory, sir. There's a theory that, I mean, if you have a country that dominated with the two fastest men all time in 100 and 200 meters, then who comes behind them? It's going to be. It's almost like reggae music and Bob. We can't shake the shadow of a Bob because Bob is just dominant.
Exactly.
So you're saying, and you understand me. So
and Peter Lloyd.
Yeah.
Let me also remind you that we had about 4 or 5 world-class athletes who were forced to change allegiance because they couldn't make the Jamaica team. Fisher, Brown, a bunch of them who had to, and Jack Harvey, and Barnes. We had 4 or 5 world-class sprinters who couldn't even make a relay team and had to switch allegiance.
Yep.
In those days.
Yep. I think though with the men are coming back.
Yes.
Because when I tell people top 4, even if you're top 4 in the world 2 years back to back, you're there.
Peter Lloyd.
Yeah.
One man run one race, 9.91.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was his only race he was going to run for them. So imagine, and Stephen Francis is the guru. Imagine how fast he's going to run this year.
Yeah, I am thinking, I am seeing at least 3 athletes, if they are healthy, making the finals in Paris. If they're healthy, all things being even.
Yeah. Which
and I can tell you who I think they are. You don't have to comment, but I think Hakeem, definitely Kishane, and Oblique. I can see those 3 men.
What about Watson?
Who?
Watson, who won last year.
No. I'm talking about the short sprint.
Yeah. No, not the 400.
Yes, of course. Yes. Ron, because again,
Watson, that's right.
Rowan Watson is also transitioning. This was all new for him. I'm here. People say he's washed up, but I'm like, what do you mean?
Did you remember the ankle leg that he ran in?
It was incredible.
Hungary for a first timer, a first year, and that is a mature senior run that he put in.
Look, I think the Jamaican men are back. Shem Hart says Jamaican men.
Absolutely.
I agree. I've been saying this for 2 years on the channel, and when I just started the track channel, people were cussing me. I said, what you talking about? And I'm like, guys, just look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And then, of course, I was talking to people like yourself, etc. Okay, someone brought up Tia Clayton, who's having a particularly good early year. John Epic.
She has to be thrown in the mix as well.
Than ever before.
Tia and Tina have to be thrown in the mix as well. I mean, what Stephen Francis has done with athletes who we thought were 3rd tier and 2nd tier to bring them to the fore. I mean, again, Peter, the top. There's going to be good athlete, a very good female sprinter who will not make the final.
I
That's
think
right.
so. I
There's
think so.
going to be a very good female athlete who will not make the final.
I think so.
And we have what? March, April, May, June, 4 or 5 months to go. You know?
Without a doubt. I mean, it is really insane if you think about it, that caliber of talent. But let's go back to the men for a second, all right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about. I see, and I've been saying it, and people are saying you're mad. You know, I mean, my brethren Rocky Hill has said it to me in his own ways. I respect Rocky people. Rocky is very knowledgeable, straight up, not like. But I have said I can see all things being equal, everybody being healthy in the men's, and it's going to be very difficult if it's possible, us sweeping the 110 hurdles. If Rashid, I know you don't do the prediction thing. Paul does not do the prediction. I know that's not his thing. He's a journalist.
No, on the game has made a great point now that Andrew Hudson, Lane, Thomas are switching, and not only them, the Hales, the two of them, Raheem and Jaheim Hales,
Yes.
are also switching. But Peter, like, just before we move away from them, men's 400 meters is coming back.
Paul, you're jumping front.
The men's 400 meters. No, listen, they have some people like Clemson, Anderson, and Tajaham, who is a freshman at Clemson. We have a whole bunch of 400-meter runners are all running under
Let me throw in a name. I'm going to throw in a name if he chooses. A young man named Rashawn Clark.
No, I think he should hurdle. He should hurdle. No,
I think he's a great hurdler. I mean, he's in the top 4 in the world.
He's not a great hurdler. He's a brilliant hurdler. You know?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull back.
No. What he did at 19 last year, and if it wasn't that stumble at the 5th hurdle,
He would have medaled.
He stopped running. He literally stopped running.
And came back to come forth.
If it
Incredible.
wasn't for that, he'd be a medalist. So he's looking good. His coach has done some good work with him. I don't know that he should do the double at all. I should just stick to the hurdle. But what do I know? I don't know much about that, you know. But the men's 400 meters, the men might not be for this Olympic Games, but the men's 400 meters is going. We're getting back to that level with the Danny Horton and the Dayton Clarks and the Michael Blackwoods. That we're going back to that level.
I think again we are fortunate. We mentioned this young lady in terms of the 400 meter earlier, Nikisha Price. I'm in love with that young lady in terms of just her sheer talent.
Listen, I've been watching her since very technical. I always turn. Last year, almost every single time she ran a PB.
Yeah, but I noticed that. Guys, take that one down before we soon get back to Mark. We soon talk to you. Take that one down. Let's finish talking about
9-7 is not for Miramar.
Oh, don't deal with it yet. Let's talk about the Keisha.
Yeah, 9-7 is not for Miramar.
It's not for the faint of heart. Let's not put it that way. You have to be an unusually talented person. But let's go back to Nikisha. Yes, even in the beginning, since this season, she has improved her PB in every 400 meter final she has run. And 50.83, people don't understand, is a heck of a time.
I think it takes a crazy person to run the 400 and the 800, and somebody who like pain. And if you see her, she probably weigh about 85 pounds.
I realize that she's
small bodied, and for her to get so much power out of that small body, I think mentally she's super strong. And next weekend, this time, Peter, I hope to be in Boston, and I don't predict, but if she breaks the national indoor record, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, but I've been talking about that too. You and I have talked about that otherwise, because I do think that I mean, I don't. You know what? The thing is, Nikisha is a doer.
Yes.
She's not big on talking. She just does it.
Yeah.
And what I saw her do the other day, that her 200 meter, which surprised me.
The speed work.
Great work.
She's qualified for the NCs in both of them. So
Yeah.
she has to be, and she's not even done at the list. She's at the top of the list as well.
But that's another thing I'm saying.
Chris Johnson, Coach Chris Johnson.
She ran the 400 and then she ran the 200 about 30 or 40 minutes after.
That's how it's structured.
Incredible. Now when we're going further into the 200, Kevona Davis, what's happening?
She missed Big 12. Don't know what happened. She's listed in the NCAA finals. We're waiting on the scratches. So to see, I mean, that's the if she will run or not. You know, we're waiting to see. I haven't heard anything. I don't know what is happening, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah, sorry guys, just bear with me. Go on, sir. Just keep.
No. I will say that. But in the 200 now, we just mentioned a while ago the American. Well, the person was born in Jamaica but switched right for America and coming back home. She will be a factor in the 200.
Who is it? Who are we talking about? Oh yes.
She will be a factor. So the 200 is going to be tough to beat up because there is somebody in the 200 named Jackson.
Oh yes.
There's someone named Jackson in the 200 meters.
Yes.
Yeah. We can't rule that one out. You know that is going to be a good one.
So I'm just going to stick with Kevona because we talk about Kevona.
Yeah.
And I think Kevona is supposed to be like the most senior Texas Longhorns female athlete at this point. Right? Am I correct in that statement?
She's a senior. I think she is a senior along with there's another sprinter, an American who's also would be up there as well as she is.
She made the individual because Tava Lene, of course, her papers didn't come through.
Yes. No, her papers came through, but something happened because I saw the passport. I saw the passport. She had a passport, but it was at work. It was with the IAF people because I didn't WF why she wasn't allowed to go through. It happened the previous year as well with 800 meter 15.
I know you're talking the young lady from England.
That's right.
Adele Tracy.
Yeah, she couldn't run at the World Championship at the Commerce Games, but she ran at World Championship. So it's the paperwork. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Rocky's asking, Rocky, where you know John Jones from? You know John Jones, Rocky? Rocky's asking, ask your guess if he knew John Jones that ran.
Not Casey. John Jones ran for Knox. If it's John Jones that went to Nebraska, he went to Knox.
Yeah.
John Jones won 4 gold medals in 1979. The Easter weekend meet. I know John very well. He's my good friend.
Okay.
It's the same John Jones.
All right.
Not Casey. He went to Knox.
It's the colors.
No. Well, Knox is not even purple. Knox is what? Blue and red.
No man, you sure Knox wasn't purple way back in the day?
No man, you mixing up with another man of the school, but he went to Knox. If it's the same J.O. and John Jones, is Knox. His daughter now plays. His daughter attends. His daughter is on a scholarship in the States as well. Yeah.
Okay, so someone had said earlier, I don't remember who it was, had said that they were disappointed in the men. We're just going to jump back to that real quick because nobody was running 9.7. I was like, yo, 9.7?
Not many people run 9.7 though. Yeah. Mark Beck.
Mark
I
Beck.
think that it will take 9.7 to medal, to be honest. I mean,
What was the time last year? The time last year was nowhere close to 9.7.
it was
Winning
nine
time
nines, I
was,
think.
yeah,
Nine got
it
got
wasn't
a medal
anything.
last year. You know, it's hard to come. I mean, very few people have done that. Very few people have run under 9.6, 9.7 in a in a championship finals, an hour and a half after hard back to back races.
Mm.
It takes a board and only a board.
But that's what I'm saying again,
It takes a
because
board, only a
we
board.
had a Blake and we have a Bolt. We
And
just assume that everybody in the world around them kind of time that
and
nobody.
a fit gear or a um
No, Michael Green didn't.
Tennessee,
Michael Green ran back in the day,
like a
9.7
Michael
US
Green,
Green man.
Green. No, probably, but I mean, it takes somebody really special
It's
to
rare.
run a 9.7. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't think three people can run a 9.7.
no, let me jump somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we have a young man who I quite like him. I think I like him because I think he's a hard worker. I think he promotes the sport really well, and I like that about him. He's bringing a lot of young eyes to the sport, and he seems to say certain things. But me and my talk about break world record, and I don't think
He's grown on me. He's grown on me.
he's good on it too.
Yeah,
I'm
first,
going to be honest. I think a part of the reason is that he's dating one of our Jamaican queens, and him seem to be treating her well. So I think maybe that's
he's
why.
grown on me. I saw him in 2016, and he was a brash American, rah 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 rah. I
But
don't
he's
think
a
it was
Jamaican queen, so she fired him down.
yeah, but he's become a statesman.
Yes, that's what
I
I'm
was
saying.
at a press conference. I was at the press conference in Budapest when he said what he said about the NBA and the world champion and everything, and I applauded him. I just thought he represents the sport how it should be represented.
Look,
I
I think he's very important. I mean, I have
he
grown
is.
to
He
really
is. He is.
like
He is.
apart from just his raw talent,
Yeah.
but I've grown to really like himself and Shakari
Yeah.
because they're selling the sport, and the more eyeballs we get to the
Absolutely.
sport,
And that's what the sport needs. The sport
Yeah,
needs
that's what we
personalities. The
And
sport
speaking
needs
of-
personalities.
Okay, so the first question: can he? I know you're not a predictor, Paul. We've been done for years, but he's talking about breaking. You're saying there is. Look, I'm not going to say there's no way, but people don't understand what
What it takes to
19.19 actually is over 200 meters. They don't understand. Like it's a hard. It's just like what I say to people.
Peter,
Ran
I tell you something.
10.4. Grasp what I'm talking about. That's a very hard thing.
Peter, my favorite event that I watched live in London 2012 was the men's 800-meter finals.
Mhm.
When you're in the stadium and when they were telling us about the splits, he was running a 24-second split run, and so the 800-meter, the toll it takes on you, he was running very very fast.
Who was this? I'm trying to remember.
The Kenyan,
24-second splits.
he was running some 24-second splits. So
Hi, Carol.
that's 800 meters. Listen, for you to run a sub 1925,
That's crazy, man. That's freaking crazy.
you're going to need David.
Yes,
Rudisha.
thanks, Ireland, David.
David
Thank
Rudisha.
you.
That was my first of all the sport, all events.
Mhm.
For you, it can happen, Peter, if you have a favorable win, a 1.7 win in the back, a 1.8 win in the back, and you click and you tick all the boxes. But 1919
It's
is
insane.
again we're spoiled.
It's insane.
Again, we're spoiled because both did something that were not supposed to happen then.
Mhm.
Both were not supposed to run a 10.72 on May 1st in New York or
Yep.
June 1st when he wasn't supposed to run 10.72 3 hours after a rainstorm. But and we always said that the tall sprinters take too long to get out of their blocks. So they with like Merlin Ati and these people, but both changed that. Both changed that completely, the whole dynamics and how we saw sports. So it will happen one day. It's gonna happen because the technology that goes into sports now, even if the spikes they wear, the clothes they wear, the exercises, the technology that goes into sport now is going to say people are going to break records. Will we see anytime soon? I'm not sure.
Sir, when we witnessed 21.41 by the young lady called Sharika Jackson, there was no wind. I keep telling people that. I'm like, no, if it was a plus one,
it was a hot night. It was a hot night. It was a really hot night as well.
Windy, no wind, hot night.
Yeah.
I think, who was it? Were you there?
Yes, I was there.
Yeah, we spoke, and you said it was hot like fire. You said the place was just hot.
It was a muggy night, yeah.
Right. Now, when I said to people, okay, because we've been talking about, because I think one of the reasons why, Sharik, I know we're just, but people, this is how myself and Paul talk, right? It's great to have access to geniuses. Let me say this. You are watching the Good to Go Sports live stream where we bring the best in sports. And tonight we have one of the top tier sports journalists all time, sports analyst all time, Paul Reid. Paul Reid of the Jamaica Observer. Paul, we don't like hearing these things, what's a fact? That 21.41 that you saw, and when she went through that tape and looked at the screen, I saw disappointment. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I remember saying to myself, who on God's blessed earth runs 21.41? She looked, it was the first time I've ever seen her look angry.
But I think, I can't speak for her,
yeah.
But I think based on training and preparation and based on how fast her 100 meters are, I thought she and her coach, Paul, they thought that she could run faster. I just felt like they knew that there was something more, and her coach, it's somebody I talk to very, very well. It's somebody I can trust to talk to, and he'll tell me things. I will talk. He will tell her that probably on the backstretch, she probably didn't do something that she needed to do to come off the backstretch a little bit faster or whatever. I don't know these technical things, but if she was disappointed, it's probably because she felt she knew that she could go faster.
Boy, sir, when I watched that race, I mean, I do believe that one of the reasons why we're not hearing anything about it this year is that they're saying, okay, these are because
they're fixing it. Whatever went wrong, they're fixing it.
That's one of the things I like about how they work with it. You see them break down the race, and you see them work on segments of the race.
Absolutely.
And when I watched that race, I've watched that race maybe 200 times. That race was nearly perfect.
Yeah.
Like everything, the transition, getting onto the block, drive phase, the race was lit almost like I've gone look at that race, and I've gone back and I've looked at Flo Jo's race. I've looked at both races.
Or maybe if she had somebody closer to her
to push her. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, probably if she had somebody closer to her. But you see, she's a bolt. But
yeah,
in that she's so far ahead of the competition that there's nobody close. So she will have to find it in herself to
push herself.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you see Gabby Thompson's face when she saw the time Sharika ran? She looked like she almost had a heart attack. Everybody,
good girl from back home. Yes, but I mean, I think everybody wants to win a medal, and I don't know.
Now, okay, I'm going to go to something we have discussed in private as brethren. Shakira Richardson. Now, for some time, I've said on this channel, and some of the Jamaicans cuss me, some of my brothers and sisters cuss me. I said, listen, any day that girl get her head together, we're going to have a problem. Any day she gets her head together, because we keep forgetting she's a child. She's like 22. She's a baby. No disrespect meant to her. And I kept saying, any day she gets
she's always been fast, though. She has always been fast.
Always been fast.
For 1 year.
But she wasn't focused.
Yes, she's not
She
focused.
wasn't focused, and she's matured. Now, here's the
She
thing.
went to
Here's the thing. We're looking
LSU
at
for 1 year and broke every record.
okay.
Yeah,
So
I
this
mean,
only
so she's not a flash in the pan. She's not new. She's not. She's always been able to run very, very fast. And as you said rightly, it's her focus. It's we were in a press conference again in Hungary last year, and somebody asked a question, and it turned into it turned into something else because she lashed out as she can
yeah.
lash out.
I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
So, but she is a talent, and she's somebody that we have to watch and respect her speed.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I
Yes.
do believe. I think Rocky might still be here if he's here. Says, let me hear your thoughts, Rocky. I do believe that when she got that lane way out in a wire,
Lineage.
it really helped her. It's just like what happened with Daniel Williams. Nobody was looking at Daniel. Nobody was looking at Shakari.
Yeah,
I think had the girls had our girls, if she was right in there in the mix, I'm not saying it would have been a different outcome, but I know for a fact it would be a fact. It would be war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you see her? I don't want to use the word threat because I feel a lot of camaraderie.
She's a world champion. She's a world champion. And the Americans in their hyperbole call her the fastest woman in the world. Not technically right, but she's a world. She's earned that. She's won a world
I don't know.
champion.
I have to disagree. I don't like that. She's not the fastest woman in the world. She
No,
won the world.
she's not the fastest woman in the world, but she's a world. She won the gold medal.
She won gold medal at the world championship.
Yes.
But I mean, it. I mean, we need to stick to the facts and stop. Stick to the facts.
Well, it's
me,
Americans. Americans are the facts.
Maybe it's just their thing, and I big up to them, and I respect.
No, America wants the fastest man in the world. That's something that Americans need. It seems.
Well, I mean, if I said it, if you are a superpower, the wealthiest nation in history, and with 325 million people, we talked about it earlier, and you can't produce the fastest woman or the fastest man in the world, you're having a bad day. I think, and as much as I see the love and the camaraderie between the athletes, because I see that, and I talk to athletes also, so they have your kind of access.
Yeah.
But I get the impression that they generally like each other. They're okay with each other. It's just that when you get to the line, it's about winning. You don't really care about beyond that.
Where we are in the mixed zone, Peter, athletes must pass us in the mixed zone when we're at championships. And you'll be so surprised to see the athletes coming out, even after a fiercely fought race, coming out and they're talking to each other. And they're Warholm, when after the semifinals, Warholm and Clark were coming through and they were talking to each other all the way through until we stopped them and started talking to them. So they're friends, So there's no animosity between. I mean, I'm not saying that they're all friends, but I mean, there's
at least respect. There's at least respect.
Yeah,
I think there's at least respect. So, well, for me, the fastest woman in America, Rocky Hill says, the fastest woman in America could be playing another sport. All right, cool. But I just had to say that, I do respect Noah and I do respect Shakira. I do think that they're incredible talents. For me, Noah, and we need them. We need people like them because they're bringing eyeballs to the sport. I mean, I keep telling people that track and field is not in the top 5, people. It's not in the top 5. I'm not even sure if I think we're 13th by my last check, or 12th or something like that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
so we need athletes who have the bravado, who are going to pull the eyeballs, bring in the youngsters.
Peter Lloyd, in 2007, when Tyson Gale won the double, won 3 gold medals in Osaka, he said he went home and he went to a store and nobody in the store recognized him in his hometown.
Wow.
He went home in his hometown and he was in a store and nobody recognized him.
Wow.
He won 3 gold medals at the World.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. We need. I keep telling people that. I say, look, I get. Noah Lyles is smart. He just signed one of the biggest endorsement deals all time in track and field, and it's because he understood. Because one of the things I remember reading is that they said Usain Bolt brought more eyes
hold
to
on.
sport than
Peter, I
any
think
anyone in history.
somebody just asked a question. If somebody wants to join fastest time in the world and win gold medal, no, but she did, I don't know if she ran the joint fastest. I think she was I think Jackson or whoever finished at the world fastest person was a clear. I don't know that. I don't know. I can't think of offhand. No. Um,
I mean, I think I understand all in the game's point. It's a valid
yeah,
point. I get the
the
point.
valid point. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very valid point. I kind of I get what you're saying. All in the game. Forgive me, guys. My spotlight did its own thing. But uh, Paul, we tend to just talk
Yeah.
because there's so much.
Maybe it's because we don't like the Americans. That could be.
Here's the thing. I think rivalry is always healthy. One of the athletes. I'm going outside of my line of questioning, but one of the athletes that I've always liked, and I thought what happened to him was kind of unfair, because he was the fastest man in the world except for Blake and Bolt for Bolt and Blake, and he had a little issue, but I think it must have been unimaginably stressful for this young man running at that time and being. It was like a movie. So Bolt was the good guy and he was the bad guy. You know what I'm talking about, the American.
No,
You're saying Bolt's they call him his greatest rival. His greatest
Gatlin,
Gatlin.
Justin Gatlin. Oh,
I thought Gatlin was I met him. He seemed to be a really nice guy.
listen, Peter, 2011, I was doing some work with IWF. They have a thing they call a day in the life, and they invite journalists from around the world. I was involved in this one where we went to Florida to interview David Howard. At the time, he was world champion. So we spent like a whole week interviewing. And Justin Gatlin actually trained in the same camp as David Howard. And at the end of the week, we went up a thing at the house, at the house. And Justin brought his little sister with him. She's about 14, 15. You would not see a more doting brother, big brother. He was waiting on her hands and foot, everything she wanted, everything. And I remember I spoke to his coach at the time, Coach Johnson, a very eccentric person. He said one of the reasons that he took Justin to coach him was because when he did the interview, his parents were there, and he was so respectful around his parents. So sometimes we see people on the screen and we made him out to be a villain, when in fact, when you actually meet them in person, they're nothing like what you see. Green, I met Mo Green in Barcelona 2012, and I asked him about him steering down the track and he's going on and blah, blah, blah. He said to me, go back and look at all my tapes. I have never disrespected another athlete. This was me getting myself ready to run a race. It was not about them, it was about me. So we love to make our enemies and rivalry. When these athletes travel together in the same planes, in the same buses, in the same thing, and they respect each other.
Yeah, and I think the media, we have a lot to do with. Well, I'm not media, but I mean the media I think has a lot to do with it. I don't consider myself media, I'm a fan. But
it might not be media, it just might be the fans what they expect.
Or fervor. Because I remember at the Racers Grand Prix last year, when Coleman won, the look in his eyes, when he went and he sat down, you could see it was relief, and it was nothing about the race. I think he was just happy to be in Jamaica and be accepted.
But Peter, we have accepted Alison Felix.
Oh, we love
Alison Felix.
What a way.
Everyone loves Alison Felix.
Yeah.
Asha Smith. We love Asha Smith. Her parents are from here anyway. So there are athletes who we embrace, who we love, and who will tolerate as well. So, but I guess we just make some out to be a villain because it serves our purpose.
Yeah, it's better. I guess it's more exciting to do that, and it's better to see them that way instead of seeing
Yes.
them as just a regular person. Because at the end of the women's 200 meters last year at World Championships, what I saw was just like eight sisters just hugging and laughing, and there was so much love in the semifinals. That embrace, that big sister embrace of Sharika with Shakari,
Yeah.
you could see it. And you were like, I mean, there was the animosity is in the spikes when they're running down the track. That's it, you know. But I think for us, I guess it's important to have, like you said, a bad guy, enemy.
Yeah.
And I think not only the media, but I also think World Athletics played up the Gatlin bad guy, and that's my opinion. I mean,
You
I might
need rivalries. You have to have
rivalry
rivalry.
is
And we
important.
don't want anybody out there sing Kumbaya
No, no,
and singing.
no, we don't.
No,
No, we don't.
I have a problem in the 800 meter when somebody push somebody else out of the way. Either it's a contact sport. 1500, 800 is a contact sport. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with a bad guy that he wants to win.
Yeah.
A bad
So
girl. I don't have a problem with that.
the NCAA indoors
Yes.
that you will be attending, right?
Yes.
Now, I think someone mentioned to me that 40 plus Jamaicans.
41
Right.
Jamaicans were included in individual events and another 4 or 5 in relay events.
So that's call it 45, 46 Jamaicans
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
speak to how important it is that one country this size was able to produce that many qualifiers in just one
Across
entity?
so many different events.
Yeah.
Across so many different events. And as I said earlier as well, in the men's shot put at the NCAA indoors, we have 4 athletes. In the NJCAA 2-year schools that starts on Friday, we have 6 of 13 finalists in the men's shot put as well. It is good for us, and it's so again it could come back to something that we spoke about earlier, in that it serves our athletes good to go to school in America and compete at that level. It helps our program. It helps our program, and because we couldn't give them, I don't think we could absorb all these 41 athletes into our system here. Neither MVP, nor racers, nor
No way.
no way, or whatever. We could absorb all these 41, and this is 41 who made it, and there's another 60 who didn't make it. Reid that ran a 147 last week, 4th best in Mississippi State history. He didn't make the
Yeah, I
cut.
realize that.
He
He's a
didn't make
great guy. I like him.
no, he's a really good kid. He didn't make the cut, and then you have all these athletes. So it says that it says that we are a powerhouse in certain events. I don't say we're a track and field powerhouse in the world, because there are events that we like the discus, the shot put, the steeplechase, anything over 800 meters. We're not there yet, so we're not a track and field powerhouse. But there's some events
That we are pretty
sprints, hurdles that we are dominant in.
We have to talk about it for a few seconds. Brianna Liston. Back at it. I don't think she went anywhere last year. Your thoughts on her so far?
What I like, I saw them. She had a mic at LSU at training one day, so she's
Right.
going around being a hype person. Because she was this very shy little girl who didn't talk much. I mean, outside of her team members, and to see her now growing and becoming this adult, this personality. She's getting her own personality now. It's a good look. It means that she's comfortable where she is, and she's coming into her own. It's going to be a good race on next weekend. I think she can win.
Do you think there's a possibility? Because I've been talking about hoping to see her run something close to 7.05, 7.06 if she's pressured. Because I think I get the impression she responds better when she's pushed. And she, what's her name? Josh, Rocky again kill me. Joshua Sears. I think that's her name.
Sears from
The one closest to her, 7.10 going in.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's it. I think it's 7.10. I'm almost certain. I am not Hubert Lawrence and I am not Paul Reid, but
I am not Hubert Lawrence. I am not Hubert Lawrence.
not that bad. So
Not even close.
yeah, so 7.10. I think that's her
Yes.
going in, right? Do you think she can push her enough? I mean, I don't think any races are walk in the park. I do not think so.
I think both of them would be pushing each other. I think yes. I mean, it is going to be one of those races that if you blink, you lose.
Yep, that's what I think too.
Yeah, if you blink, you lose. That is what's going to happen there. And I mean, in the indoors is a different animal. I mean, the noise is all around you. Everything is happening all around you. I'm trying to look at. Okay, that's the men. The indoors, like you're really everything is on top of you. So it is going to take willpower, talent. Sears from Tennessee. 7.10. May from Oregon is 7.11. Texas Tech is 7.12.
Mm-hmm. So who you think are the girls to look at in that race?
Everybody.
I'm kind of thinking too.
Because Jackson is
if there's a misstep, that's it. If there's a misstep, that's it.
Yes, I mean everybody is when they get to the stage, it's everybody because you have to make the final to win the final. So you can't have a bad race in the finals.
The coaches. I mean, I know you know a lot of coaches. What are the coaches talking about? The ones that you speak about regarding our athletes and our preparation for the Paris Olympic Games. Because I know you talk to these guys.
It's kind of early though. Kind of early. I mean, you probably won't hear much more talking about May or so. But from the NCAA, you maybe from the NCAA.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're looking at honestly, we saw that a few of the men didn't carry over their form last year. The 400 and the 800 meters, they never we had one 800 meter man, but he never really did what he did in it's a long season, Peter. This season started for them in December.
I know.
And June. It's every week. It's a very long season. The field events people, I think, this thing, for example, will be there. Akila Smith.
Yeah.
Akila in a long and triple jump, and that there's a name that we haven't called all night. Carletta Bernard.
Oh yes,
Texas.
Yes, definitely.
She's injured. She has run a lot, but I don't know what the story is with her. But we'll call it. But she's one to look at for the future. She's going to be in the mix. Coach Flo has high regard for her from 1, 2 to 4. So we don't know what's coming that. But I think it's a little early because I mean in the sprint hurdles we have Megan, we have Williams, we have Akira. It's going to be tough for the college student to come out. The one college student that I see coming out is Price in the 400 meters. I think she will be really, really good. But I think it's best to wait until the middle of the outdoor season. We will have a better idea of where we're at as far as the overseas-based athletes are doing.
Akira Nugent spoke very highly about Karika Hill. Very highly about
We haven't seen much of her though because she was running flat 60. That's all we've seen her so far, yeah.
Another one of those just exceptional talents because I think she's also a great flat sprinter.
And she's still a junior.
And she's a baby.
She's a junior. Yes.
So it's
we're talking about the Olympic Games. Spare thought for the World Under 20 in Lima, Peru. Hibbert is going to go to Lima. So there could be a triple jump gold, Olympic gold medalist jumping in the world under 20. Hill has the age for world under 20. Data from Herbert Marsh in 100, and the guy from Stets last year. So the world under 20 this year, late August.
Alana Reid.
Alana Reid.
Alana Reid.
It's going to be, and we're going to see the next generation of superstar athletes coming through from that meet as well.
Alana Reid, again, your thoughts so far?
Super talent, super talent. I mean, she was very disappointed last year because she thought she could make the team last year. She really believed in her heart that she could make. But you see, it's kind of hard for her having started to run in January and going up against people who started to run in April, May. Right, and everything. Right. So she peaked for champs already. She has peaked for champs. She has peaked everything to come back down. This year, she has a professional season where champs April, she's not going to be sprinting hard in March, April. So she's going to be right there with them. So, knock on wood, she could be that dark horse person, that 100 meters out there. Again, it come back to, there's going to be a very, very good world-class sprinter who will not be the final.
I agree with you. I believe somebody is probably going to miss that boat, unfortunately. Because of the level of talent that we're looking at. We haven't touched.
Somebody asked a question earlier.
Yes.
If everybody all being equal, 1, 2, 3, who's that fourth person for the relay team, and can they break the world record? Who's that fourth person for the relay team? Nelson from Oregon, that went to Oregon. Forbes, Brianna, Reid. Who is that? Who is going to be that fourth person?
And we have to say, the Claytons, there's a possibility.
The Claytons,
right?
Clayton twins.
Sasha Lee, Forbes. You said Forbes already.
Yeah. The Clayton twins. Who, have to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So I can't answer that.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Okay. We're Natasha Morrison.
Natasha
said 4x4. Yeah, high possibility also because she I think she ran a PB last year.
Yeah, she PB last year.
A PB last year. Diamond League finals, if I'm correct. Yeah. And a solid PB, very, very impressive.
Yes.
In a different country, it would have been a very impressive PB. In Jamaica, it's a good PB.
Yeah.
We haven't touched yet on the ISA boys and girls champs. All right. Now, I've told you that I tried not to talk about KC because I have a natural prejudice. I try not to go there, and I know you don't like talking about.
No. I mean, we can see already how it is shaping out. We've gone through all the top meets so far. We've had the regional meets, and except for Daly not medaling at Western champs, which I spoke to his coach, and the coach is like, it's no big deal. He's all right. He ran 10-4 at Mile Western relays.
Very impressive.
Daly ran 10:08 last June. Second fastest ever second fastest ever male.
And he was injured.
Yes.
From injury.
People are concerned by his form early. I'm not concerned at all. I think Claude Grant, his coach, is a really, really good coach. Claude Grant is an underrated coach. He is, I put him up there with anybody else at that level. He had Dexter Lee. He coached Dexter Lee, Nikisha Anderson, a whole bunch of people. He coached all of them. But boy, every year we say the same thing. Peter, champs will be hot this year.
It's hot every year.
Every year.
There's a young lady that's fascinating me, Thiana Lee Terrell. That That
Super.
time she ran her opening time for the beginning of the season,
Yes, yes,
it was
yes,
what,
yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was 11.30. I'm saying to people, if that's your opening race, your opening volley,
But if you remember Peter Lloyd, last year she almost missed champs.
I remember
She
that. I
pick
remember
started
she
at
had, was it injury?
Carafta. She pick started Carafta
Yes, yes, yes.
trials and had to go run at the GC Foster meet the next day to get a
To make it to qualify.
Yes,
I remember that. She's
yes, yes.
exceptional.
So she
Exceptional.
know. I mean, the Eddie Allen program just keep turning them on. Eddie Allen program just
So
keep turning them on.
I'm going to jump to the question that a
Hold
lot of
on,
people.
hold on. There's another name that we've not called all night. Cole in 100 meters as well. Cole,
Oh yes,
Serena Cole.
yes,
Serena
yes,
Cole
yes,
is an
yes.
MVP. Serena Cole is an MVP.
Listen, you see, the thing is, there's so much talent,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That
Serena
sometimes
Cole. Yeah,
because that's a name we should not have missed out
yeah,
under
yeah.
no
And
circumstance.
there's no circle. But it just goes to show Peter the amount,
The
how
depth.
we have been blessed. You
Yeah.
know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. You know.
Pinnock, uh, do you think in any way, shape, or form that the long jump record could be under threat?
The indoor record of 840, I think, will be broken next weekend.
Mm.
I,
Oh
I
yeah,
think he, I think he jumped 834 last week, easy.
yeah,
I
and
think
I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think 840 is in his Peter. I can see easily. I can see 5 national records being broken next week
Can you
indoors.
tell us which ones you're thinking of?
2 long jumps.
Mm.
Sorry, 2 high jumps.
Mm.
Male long jump. Aquila is just a tinge outside of you remember this young lady from Dintil Technical in a long jump. She has a long jump indoor record. Oh Jesus. She went to Auburn. Dintil and Auburn.
I, I, I,
Marnie Rose.
I'm seeing her. The name is not coming to me.
Yes, a small girl.
Anyone in the chat, can you just remind us?
The 2 high jump records can be broken. There's a girl from Alberton who we
Aisha,
don't know.
can you look that up, please? Can you
Yeah.
look to see who?
I'm looking at her now. Small, straight face, a young lady. She married name Rose. Anyway, there's a young lady from Alberton High that ran 200.99 seconds in the 800 meters last week. Bedford at Houston.
Oh yes, yes, yes,
She's
yes,
not
yes.
far from the national indoor 800-meter record. The 400-meter record with Price as well. I can see that going. So the ends when in the 8 and the long jump,
Right.
it could go. It could go. So I think we're in for a really, really outstanding NCAA indoors. And not to mention this weekend as well. This weekend, because we have people who've been running this weekend as well at World Indoors. You know, well, in a few hours' time.
In a few hours time.
Starting about 6 or 7 hours. Starting about
Yes.
6 hours.
Yeah, yeah. We're in a, I think we're in a very good place as a country in
Yes.
terms of track and field.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I have to ask you these 3 questions because we are getting ready to wrap up,
Yeah.
or we'll be here all night. One, track and field. What was for you the most memorable moment? You mentioned the 800-meter record the other day, but was the 800 in 2020 last year, 2023,
No, 12.
2012?
Radisha.
Is that it? I mean, what moment for you in track and field as a journalist, as a sports analyst, had the most impact on us as a community and on you as an individual?
All right. I had a gut feeling in 2008. I had a gut feeling, and I had to go to that meeting, New York. Both brought. I was at trackside. I was literally at trackside watching a 100-meter race, shooting 100-meter race, and both broke that world record. That was absolutely amazing. I was in London for the 1, 2, 3 in the 200 meters. I saw that. With Bolt, Blake, and Weir.
Mm.
Um, yeah. I was in Italy in 2009 when Michael won the first throwing global medal for us in the discus. He came third in discus. That was our first throwing medal at a global event. And then the next year, you had Dakers coming up and winning back-to-back world under 20. But for me, on a personal level, something that I remember last because he passed recently, Henry Rono. He passed a couple of weeks ago. I was privileged to have been invited by the IAF to go to the world the end of year thing in Monaco. And that was when they honored Henry Rono. And he had his demons with alcohol and all these things after broke all the world records and everything. But he made a speech that to this day, when I hear the speech, I mean, I don't have any, but I get goose pimples. And he kept saying, I'm a Maasai warrior. Every 2 minutes he says, he's affirming his ancestry, he's affirming his strength, got all his strength from. He's a Maasai warrior. So he was just more than just an athlete. He was representing his tribe, his people. And I sat there and I mean, I just goose pimples all over. So it was more than just a performance on a track that stood out for me as much as this man who has battled so many demons and I was able to get back in to get him to get back himself.
And Jamaican track and field, what was the moment for you in Jamaican track and field?
Jamaica track and field
Touched you that you thought impacted the island in a way.
Bolt 2008. Bolt and both 100-meter finals in 2008 because that is when we reclaimed. Because up until 2008, if we won 4 or 5 medals, we're happy. Come 2008, the expectations were just not just to compete anymore and not just to win medals, but to win gold medals and win multiple double-digit medals. And that happened only because of Glenn Mills and Stephen and MVP.
Yeah.
That's the only way it happened because of what Mills did, what Stephen Francis and Bruce James did. That is why we were reaping the reward. So we didn't have to send our best athletes away anymore. We could keep the best of the best here. So that impacted Jamaica on a level. I tell you a story about somebody who people might not remember in this forum now. A guy named Scott from a school in Lucy. He won class 3 200 meters at Champs a long time ago. He had the best interviews after post-race interviews. When I asked him why he was so happy to win the race, he said because indeed he bought it from KC. Most of KC boys.
I don't remember that.
Ryan Scott.
Ryan Scott. I know the name.
He's a racist now.
Yeah.
He's
yeah. Yes. I know who you're talking about.
now, and we hear it doing very, very well. But Raheem Scott turned down scholarship offers. I know that for a fact. Raheem Scott turned down scholarship offers because he wanted to stay in Jamaica and do what he wants to do here. And I have no doubt that we're going to be hearing that name, if not this year, come next year.
Raheem Scott.
Yeah, so 2008, that windfall in Bird's Nest, falling over into 2009 in Berlin, 2011 in Daegu, all these it came out of it changed our whole perspective of what our expectations were. So we're talking about the next generation of athletes. Shellyan, Bolt, and Blake.
Yeah.
They are the ones that did all of this.
That created
Yes,
it all.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, I had meant to ask you this earlier, so before we do the final two rapid questions, I have to ask you. She has announced that after the Paris Olympic Games, 38 years of age, I remember seeing her post something late last year where she was basically saying, "Why do I have to retire? I love this. I love doing this." And people have accosted me, not literally, but have said, "Why do you call her the greatest of all time? She hasn't broken a world record."
I agree with you. I
I think
absolutely
she's the
agree with you.
greatest.
Yeah, and our great friend who passed last week, we've had this conversation many, many times. And he has said that a world record sets you apart. Both broke two world records. He was a part, he
Three,
broke
three.
many world records in two events and relay events. That sets both apart. But for longevity, she was on a 2017. People don't remember that. She was on a 2017. She ran in the relays first leg. It is now 2025,
Yep,
2024.
yep,
It's 18 years.
yep. Insane.
That's 18 years, and she's running faster now than she ever
That,
did before.
not only that, sir. 5 world
Yeah,
championships. Just people don't understand what that
yeah.
means.
I mean, so far in my book, she has to be the greatest sprinter of all times.
Yeah, and I've said that too. I've said
Yeah,
not just female,
yeah,
greatest period.
yeah. But
Just what she's accomplished is incredible.
what they will tell you, the real geniuses will tell you that the world records is that, and which way I said 90 people can talk all they want to talk. 1919, 9.58 is not going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't think so too.
Yeah,
It's gonna take a minute.
yeah.
Are there any more questions that everyone watching would like to ask the brilliant Paul? Really hates hearing that, but that's the truth. I've been saying this for years. He was like, any other questions you'd like to ask before we ask our wrap up questions? Anything else? Once more, I'd like to say we are watching the Yep, Good to Go sports live stream number 2, featuring the world renowned top tier sports analyst and the journalist from the Jamaica Observer, the remarkable Paul Reid, who I have the distinct pleasure of calling a member of my team and my brethren. Anytime I go astray, he pull me up and say, "No, me, no, that not work out." Paul, so the tradition here is we ask the last person to leave a question for the person coming. So before we get to that, we're going to ask you, what question would you like to ask our next the person that we're going to interview next? It doesn't matter who it is. Just what question would you like to ask them?
Thinking cap. Outside of outside of um outside of Bolt, Shelley, Sherika Jackson, which other athlete they think in any event, throwing jumping event, they think could be the next superstar?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I know you
Aisha,
have in mind already.
Aisha, can you make up a note of that question, please, if you can? Or
Of all the athletes we have now coming through, who is our next breakthrough superstar?
that's a great question, sir.
I think it's easy to win.
Yeah.
I think it's easy, but
Yeah, I am seeing. Yeah. All in the game.
it jumped out at you.
Already. He says Rashawn Clark.
Yeah.
I mean, I see about 4 people who think. I think Rashawn Clark is definitely one of the 4 people.
Russian Clark, yeah, of course.
Definitely.
Watson as well.
Watson is another one, I think.
Hibbert is obvious choice for me.
Who is Watson?
Hibbert.
Yes, but I mean, I think he's pretty much already there.
He
just
hasn't
needs
won.
to
He
win
hasn't won.
that
He hasn't
crowning
won
podium.
the
He just
global
needs to win it.
medal yet.
That's it.
He
That's it.
hasn't won the global medal yet.
But I'm
Except
going to
for,
ask that question of that person.
yes.
The question Akira Nugent said I should ask you is, it was sort of introspective and philosophical. It was, why not you?
Why not me?
Why not you?
All right. It's not fake humility, but I think that journalists, one of the bane of our profession is that I think journalists are trying too hard to be superstars.
Mm.
We want to be equal to the people we cover. When I started this journey in early 80s, we had no trips, no Olympics to go to look forward to, no world championships. We had no awards to get. We did it because we loved it. We did it because this is what we did, this was a passion. Journalists will tell us, sports journalists will tell you that we don't work. We are just following through on our, as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not me? Why me? That's the question I would ask. But that's a deep one. That's a deep one. I might have to think about this one a little bit more. But I think journalists, I'm not saying that we should be not not strive to be great, not strive to because we have to be great.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we want to be friends with the people we cover, and that could be dangerous.
That's a problem. Yeah. I
That
think
that that can be because in every single career there is going to be a problem. The athletes are going to have some little issues sometimes, and we have to be able to be professional, to be able to talk to them and ask questions and not be their friends.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to ask some hard questions. There's no doubt about it. It's not always
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
going to be some hard moments.
Yeah.
Um, well, you know what? On the behalf of the team, and you being a part of the team, but it's still great to have you here. I
Appreciate
just want to
it.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for giving off your time, my brother, my brethren. I'm honored to call you that. People is and happy so everybody who came through to the live stream. We do these streams every 2 weeks on a Thursday. Unless there's some major event happening, then we'd have to switch it slightly. But we did Akira Nugent first, but we wanted to speak to a sports analyst who has a really um, balanced perspective, who had years of experience, and who could speak to us from, because and I know that YouTubers tend to speak from passion and other things. It is, so we want, because one of the things I'm very fortunate I have to say is that a lot of our subscribers, we're almost at 38,000, and thank you. And by the way, people, we've been checking our stats, and we realize that 60% of you come to the channel, who come here often, you have not yet subscribed. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to that 50K, and I know we can get there soon. If you enjoyed the live stream, you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We have great videos and other great things coming up. So, Paul, I want to say thank you so very much for being a
My
friend.
pleasure. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
It was a lot longer than I thought. It's supposed to be an hour. I keep telling people I hate doing live streams, but I enjoy these conversations, and I enjoy the questions asked, and it's great to have people in the chat who are so knowledgeable, because they're really knowledgeable, and the questions are well thought out. And normally, if I make a if I can't locate you or Hubert Jarrison Soul, or I call, and I said to them, guys, if I'm wrong, please correct me, and trust me, they correct me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but I have people I call as well. I have
Yeah.
my friends where I call as well and can call. Leighton, for example, is my good friend.
Yeah.
Levy at Sportsmax. Leighton
Oh,
Levy is
yes.
a brilliant
He's a
journalist.
great guy. He's a
Oh,
great.
I mean, amazing journalist. I mean,
Great
Sean
journalist.
Grant again. Sean Grant is somebody I can bounce my ideas off. So I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Nobody know everything.
One of the things we want to do on the platform is to give people a balanced and rounded perspective. So we'll be talking to athletes, we'll be talking to coaches, we'll be talking to people like yourself. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you more often on the channel. you know. I mean, people, this man don't want to come on the channel. They don't want to do this money, I know. But you know, but hopefully we convince him. If you want him to come back, because we want him here, we need your expertise and your dispassion, passion. If you get what I'm trying to say to you, you're passionate, but you are able to be balanced, and it's important.
I try to be. I try to be.
Yeah. But you're doing a good job, brother, so far. Shem Hall says, Peter, try to see if you can also get an interview with Sean Grant. Oh,
Sean migrated. He's in Ohio now.
he is.
Yeah, he just recently migrated. Matter of fact, he might be on this live now because I told him about it and he said he would be on.
Sean, are you on the live, Sean?
Yeah, I spoke to him earlier
Yeah.
tonight. So I don't know if he's on or not. He said he would be on.
But I mean, if he's here, he'll reach out. But
Sean is one of the hardest working journalists I know. Sean is in St. Thomas one morning, the next day is in Westmoreland. You know, Sean is one of the hardest working journalists I know.
Oh, listen, Michael Hill he brought up a great point. He said, who's the greatest long jumper of all time? Carl Lewis, Olympics champion, four times world champion. Does he have a world record? No.
Carl Lewis had probably the greatest series ever.
That was
91.
crazy. Yeah.
And he was only beaten by a world record. I mean, what did the world record holder do after that? Not much. Carl, his longevity, we might not like him. He's one of the Americans that we don't really like. Because of his.
Yeah, I mean, he suggested things about you saying that none of us really appreciate love, but but Michael is right. He is arguably the greatest long jumper of all time. There's no doubt about that.
Easy.
Shem Hall says about you, he's very knowledgeable about track and field. I always listen to him on KLAS.
Sean Grant, no man, Sean. I tell you, Sean works hard. Sean works hard, and he has a knowledge base. And you know he's improving himself all the time. Sean's my friend though. I'm a friend as well, you know. So yeah.
Well, I mean, people, what we're doing here at Peter Lloyd World is we're giving you a balanced perspective of track and field. I mean, I have a good relationship with a lot of the athletes. I have a good relationship with a lot of the people at the managerial level, etc. And then Paul knows a lot of these people and other people. So I mean, you know, we are happy to serve. That's our purpose. I mean, all of us here are passionate about track and field. People may never know me could have talked for 2.2 hour 26 minutes. We never know that possible. I am sure Bestie is asleep at this point. Bestie, are you asleep? I did not, but you know what? I think we all had. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, my brother. And I will remember the question to ask our next guest.
Yes.
You will be covering tomorrow. By the way, you can follow him at the Jamaica Oberver. I'm sure that you already know a lot about Paul, but you'll be seeing him a lot more on the channel.
I will be in Kingston for Sunday's last day of the trials because I have a lot of work to do in Mobile. But I will be in Boston next weekend for the NCAA indoors.
Do you have what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is at I can't say it to you and post on the thing. I don't remember it.
Bestie, can you add his handle? Can you find
Instagram
it?
handle? Okay, it's I think I can find it here. I can look at it.
Yeah. Can you? My bestie. Hush.
I don't remember it, to be honest.
We'll find it. We'll find
I feel
it.
bad about that. I feel bad about it, but
In the description
I'm on,
below.
yeah.
Right? Or you can find him on Facebook as Paul Reid.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram as well. Yeah.
And you can find, so don't worry, we'll add it in the description below. Yeah. Thank you all for coming by. I want to say thanks to the team for stopping by. Bestie, Aisha, thank you so very much for assisting us. Everyone who came to the live, thank you so much for spending time with us. 2 more weeks time, we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll be able to talk about World Championships. We'll be able to talk about what happened at NCAA indoors. It's going to be a great couple of weeks. Thank you all for stopping by. Once again, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Our goal is at 50K in another couple of months. I'm pretty sure we can get there with all of you. And look, people, if you want me to cover a particular topic on a video, let me know. Also, if you're interested in the financial side of life, we have Peter Lloyd World of Wealth, where we talk about wealth empowerment, financial, and becoming brighter and more knowledgeable about financial stuff. So, Paul, thank you so much, my brother. Um, People, Paul Reid was a bodybuilder, right? But just I tell you right now, Paul was a bodybuilder when I met Paul. Paul was in fact, I thought Paul Reid was going to be heading to Mr. Olympia. Paul, what happened to what happened?
Peter, that was when I was younger and at time of my hands and we call it expendable cash. It takes a lot to go into that, and
I know, and you have to take a lot of risks,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah. So thank you,
I had
Paul.
fun though.
I know you did.
Yes.
Thank you very much for making it. Yep, good to go. Live stream, sports live stream here on Peter Lloyd World. Thank you again for the remarkable sports analyst, journalist of the Jamaica Observer. Top tier, one of the best in the world, certainly one of the best in Jamaica and the Caribbean, the remarkable Paul Reid. And we'll be having him pass through the streams more often to impart his wisdom of the sports. Paul, have a great time at the NCAAs. I'm looking forward to those records falling, and I'm looking forward to our wins tomorrow. I do believe we will medal in the men's 60 meter. I think that will be the first medal we pick up, and I think you're right. The jumpers are going to do us well, and I think Thomas Dodd. Yeah, I see something happening there too.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so very much. It's been awesome having you here at the live stream. Remember, you are royals, kings, and queens. Bless up. Oh, before I finish, t-shirts. Get your t-shirts. You want to support the channel? Takes money. What did that politician say? It takes cash to care. We have some great t-shirts, people. Seriously, get a t-shirt. They start at $40 US. Email us at teampeterlloyd@gmail.com to order a t-shirt. We walk. You can get what color. We have male and female cuts, shapes, sizes, long or short sleeve. We're still trying to put together our Shopify, but you can do that for the time being, or you can reach out to Peter Lloyd World or Instagram and DM us, and we will get that t-shirt out to you. As I said, you're kings and queens. Bless up. It's a Casey I go win chance, right? Because I tell you, Casey going to win. I shouldn't say that. Okay, guys, listen.